All right. Good morning, everyone. The virtual meeting of the Cultural Resources Commission will now come to order. Quorum has been established. We have 5 members in attendance. Today is Wednesday, September 8, 2021, and it is 10:06 a.m. Then based on the governor's and mayor's emergency proclamation regarding COVID-19, our meetings will be online until further notice. This is to, of course, maintain social distancing and to prevent the spread of the virus. As noted on the published agenda, the public is able to view and listen to this meeting. A link to the YouTube live streaming is provided on the county website. The video recording will remain on YouTube channel for those who are not able to watch it live. All reports and surveys discussed during this hearing are available on the county website. Also, as noted on the agenda, public participation is limited to written testimony. All written testimony received by the planning department for items on this agenda have been forwarded to the commissioners. Commissioners, please be reminded that only one speaker may speak at a time. Please raise your hand to be recognized. Staff, would you please confirm that no written testimony was received by the department?
That's correct, Chair. No written testimony received.
Thank you. All right, so let's go on to new business. And we'll begin with introductions. Due to the numerous changes in board membership, as well as changes in the CRC staff support since our last meeting in January, we ask that all members and staff provide a brief introduction. At this time, I'd like to introduce Kohala Plunkett, who's the planner assigned to the commission. And Kamu, I'd like to ask that if you introduce also members of the staff.
Yes. Okay. Thanks, Chair. Aloha, everyone.
Aloha.
My name is Kohala. My name is Kohala Plunkett. I am the new planner assigned to the Cultural Resources Commission. Before I go into a little bit more about myself, I'll just introduce some of the other staff attending right now. So Kim may give a little bit about herself. So I'll just let you guys know Kim Tanaka is the secretary. We also have Alexis, who is the Zoom support, Alexis Ching. Aloha, and she's actually gonna turn off her camera, but she'll be here in the background, just supporting on the Zoom side. Also, if you guys have maybe questions, she's monitoring the Zoom chat, so that's another way that she can be monitoring and helping. Jean Campbell is Corporation Counsel to the Planning Department and therefore to the CRC, and my supervisor is April Supranat, who you folks may be able to see on the screen. Hi, April. So Kim will have her own intro. Jean, do you want to say a few words?
Sure. Good morning, everyone. To be legal support to you if you have questions. I'm your resource. And I'm very pleased to be able to work with you all, and let me know how I can help you.
Thanks.
Great, thanks, Jean. April, did you want to say a few words?
Just aloha. It's great to meet all of you. We look forward to working with you in the long range division, and yeah, thank you for this opportunity. So I'm here as well to support in any way I can.
Thanks.
Terrific. So thanks to the staff for supporting. Again, because CRC is making a new start, I just wanted to take this time for all of us to be able to talk just a little bit about who we are and our background. So I grew up in Kohala, Hawaii, and after my dad passed away, me and my mom moved out to the east side of the Big Island. And I'm a graduate of Waiakea, actually. And then I worked for many years, but eventually I went back to school, interested in not just Hawaii, but the roots of our people. And so I studied Polynesian migration in school. I have a background in archaeology and traditional food systems. And that was my undergrad. And then in my graduate work, I combined my studies with archaeology and traditional food systems and combined it with planning and land use. And so that's a very brief story of how I ended up here. And super honored to serve our community and serve you folks. And yeah, I'll just leave it at that. And later on, after everybody does short introductions, if there's questions, you folks can ask of me or of each other. So with that, I'll just let Kim introduce herself, and then Chair, then you can call out the commissioners to introduce yourself, Chair, but we'll start off with Kim.
Thanks, Kalu. Hi, everyone. Kim Tanaka, Secretary to the Cultural Resources Commission. I've been Secretary to the Commission since it began. I think it was 2014 or so. I'm also from the Big Island, born and raised, went to Waiakea High School, like Kamu. But yeah, so if you have any questions of me, feel free to contact me at any time. I can be reached by email or phone. But we have a great commission right now, so yay. But thank you.
Thanks, Kim. I'm Jerry Bell, and I'm retired from the National Park Service, and that's all I'm going to tell you about myself. So I am going to name commissioners that are not here today. The first one, and I'm going to do it in alphabetical order. And the first commissioner is Alex O'Connell, and he's been a member of the commission for the last 4 or 5 years, I believe. And we have a new member, Matthew Clark. Matthew, say hi and tell us a little bit about yourself.
Aloha, my kako. I'm Matthew Clark. I am taking Teresa Dunham's place on the commission. I'm originally from Vermont. I have lived in Puna on the Big Island for more than 20 years now. I work as an archaeologist. I did my undergrad work at the University of Vermont, and I got my master's degree from Hilo in Heritage Management in 2017. I currently serve as the director of ASM Affiliates Hilo office. And, I work on a daily basis with the State Historic Preservation Division, the Historic Preservation Review process. And I'm really excited about being part of this commission. And I think the county should be taking more of a lead role in cultural resources on this island and how they're managed. So I look forward to working with all of you, and I've met a lot of you, but not everybody. So I'm really excited. I'm looking forward to getting to know you all.
Thanks, Matt. Glad to have you on board. Our next commissioner is Kilohana Hirano. Hi, Kilo.
Aloha kakahiaka. My name is Kilohana Hirano. I am originally from Hilo, born and raised in Waiakea. I now live in Ola'a, Puna. Currently I'm a community strategist for Kamehameha School's strategy and innovations team. So with Kuleana over the entire Hawaii Island and our community engagement work. I'm a graduate of Kamehameha Schools and also have done my college work with University of Hawaii at Hilo, BA in Hawaiian Studies, and Central Michigan University MA in Curriculum Development. I'm a former educator in the immersion system in the DOE and also at Kamehameha before moving into community work. In addition to my education background, I'm a part of the Hawaiian Civic Club of Laupohoi. Actually, I'm the president of the Hawaiian Civic Club of Laupohoi. and also the president of the Haleona Ali'i Halao Kalakaua in East Hawaii. Mahalo.
Awesome. Thanks, Kilo. And we have a new member, Ku'ulei Keakealani. Hi, Ku'ulei.
Kakahiaka noia nake, kakahiaka noia kaku pakahia pau. Certainly a privilege to sit amongst all of you folks. Thanks for opening this time and space. I am actually Kupa'ai of Pu'uanahulu, North Kona. That is my Onehanau. The ancestral homelands begin in Pu'uawa'a, Pu'uanahulu, and Kaupulehu. However, Waimea, this Anu Oluo Waimea, this pleasant, cool uplands of Waimea has also raised me as my dad took a position as a Parker Ranch cowboy, raised us as Parker Ranch children. I think with that, having what I consider an absolute honor and privilege to have ridden all of these mountains on my trusty horse, Loke, until she passes. And then I have another trusty horse, Lady Ho, and then my Anella, and then my Soja. But these horses took me on all of these mountains. We first lived through Parker Ranch at Kapapala Ranch. We lived there for about 5 years. Of course, home base was always Pu'uanahulu. Then we come back, we relocate to Waimea from Kapapala, Ka'u. And at this point now, I'm able to ride Kohala Mountains and Mauna Kea, front and back of Mauna Kea. That takes us right in Kapapala, we ride Mauna Loa. Hualalai was the home mountain. So being raised, I believe in this kind of a lifestyle where Olelo, I grew up in a bilingual household. And I just thought everybody kind of spoke how we spoke at home. I was a part of education pretty much my entire life thus far. We opened Punanaleo o Waimea, 1995. We go on to help establish Kanuoka and build what is their early childhood program, Malama Po'oki'i. You know, I guess really just to be able to sit amongst others that would lend our voices to this homeland and be a part of influence and affecting the decision makers that make decisions for this Aina. I believe it is a privilege to sit in such a seat. So I, amongst other people, I'm sure, take our kuleana quite seriously and in depth. So just mahalo again for the people I sit amongst, and to my ohana and the folks that were my primary teachers, my family and the Aina. I will forever be a servant unto my Aina and to my Kanaka. Mahalo.
Mahalo, Ku'ulei. Thank you. We do have other members of the commission that are not here for today's meeting. And that's Natalie Kurashima. I believe she works for Kamehameha Schools, or over on the Kona side, we have Nicole Louis, Scott Mahoney, and we have a new member, Aaronspielman. Aaron, hi, introduce yourself.
Hi, hello, aloha. Nice to meet everybody. My name is Aaronspielman. I was born and raised on the Big Island in South Kona, and I moved to Waimea, graduated from HPA in 1995. I studied architecture on the East Coast in Savannah, Georgia, from through 2000. A Bachelor of Architecture, a Master of Architecture from Savannah College of Art and Design. My work on the East Coast and then coming back here to Hawaii was primarily adaptive reuse and historic preservation type projects, turning existing structures into new uses or otherwise reconfiguring a building shell into a new use. Back in Hawaii, I started working for Kona Historical Society and documenting the old Paniolo structures on Hualalai, and some on Mauna Loa. And in doing so, helping them with their living heritage.
Aaron.
Yeah.
Aaron, sorry. Your volume is a little low and it's breaking up. I don't know if you can go closer to your mic or turn up your mic. Sorry to interrupt. So.
No problem. I don't know if I can turn on my mic. Should I speak louder? Is that better?
It's a little better.
Okay. Sorry. So I moved back to Waimea in very end of 2002 and have worked in different architecture firms, doing different projects. And in 2014, started my own practice named after my sister-in-law, Nanea Studios. And we work on different sizes and types of projects and community projects, including, I know Ku'ule from Punanuleo and Kanu. And I think having a chance to serve on this commission is an important chance to document and analyze things that may get missed or not considered. I think there might be some overlap with Shipti, and I'm excited to sit with everybody and be part of this commission. So thank you very much, Mahalo.
Well, thank you, Aaron. We're excited to have you on board. We've needed an architect for a while. All right, so we're going to move. Thank you, everybody. So we're going to move on to our second item on our agenda.
Chair,
yes.
Chair,
Did we get somebody? Yeah.
So Scott is in attendance and Nicole Louie is also in attendance. I'm wondering if we can have them do a short intro to themselves as well.
We can. I don't see them on the screen, but Nicole, why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself, please?
She's off screen. Oh, there she is.
Okay.
Yeah.
Aloha mai kakou.
Aloha, Nicole.
Hi, you can hear me.
I can hear you.
Aloha, everyone. It's so good to have a meeting start up again. And thank you, Kamu. Thank you, Jerry. And it's so good to have Kule on board. I'm ecstatic. Yay. Anyway, and the rest of you. I don't know everybody else, but I do know Kule, and I've known her for a very long time, and I've worked with Kamu before in the field, and I just came out of the field, so I'm a little bit lepo, but yeah, my name is Nicole Louie. I am from Kona, Akau, North Kona, and I live in right now in the Ahupua of Holualoa, number 2, I believe. But at one time it was just all Holualoa. And I am also a descendant of the people of Kikaha. And so it's a pleasure to be here and be with everyone. And thank you so much. This is my second term time with the Culture Resource Commission. I have a 5-year term, and I hope to be able to fulfill that term to the best of my abilities. And okay, what else? Oh yes, I'm also on the subcommittee, which I need to think about if I'm going to continue being on the subcommittee. I really would like to, but things are happening in my life that I have to ponder over and see if I can contribute to the subcommittee. Other than that, yes, thank you for having me, and we can move on.
Okay, thank you, Nicole.
You're welcome.
Scott.
Yeah.
Hi, Scott.
Hi. I thought I got out of this, but Kamuela caught me. But anyway, yeah, my name is Scott Mahoney. I'm a commissioner with the Cultural Resource guys. I'm I'm born and raised in Kalihi, moved to Maui up in the Valley for like 35 years, and finally came back to Hawaiian Homes where I had land for a long time. And now I farm here. I'm a graduate of Kamehameha Schools, also had a degree at University of Colorado. I had various jobs, but anyway, right now I'm involved with the rollout of Kamehameha. I'm also on the Hawaiian Civic Club from Waimea. I'm on the board of that. I do mediations with the West Hawaii Mediation Center. Also a council member with the Borough Council. And I represent Kau, where my family line, the Haile Lani line comes out of. And others, I do other things, but it's mostly all based, cultural based stuff. And one of the, I gotta say that out of all these groupings that I'm involved with, the Cultural Resource Commission is really enjoyable. They're organized and well informed, and yeah, I'm really proud to be part of it. Thank you.
Thank you, Scott. I don't see anyone else on, so I'm going to move to item 2 under new business, and that's the update on the Investigative Subcommittee for Preservation Plans. And I would like to introduce Teresa Dunham. She is a former member, I hate to say that, former, and also ex-chair. Teresa, can you give us some background on the subcommittee and then bring us up to date on the projects, please?
Yeah, sure. Mahalo, Jerry. Aloha, commissioners. It's nice to see a lot of faces. Sometimes we've had pretty short turnouts. Excuse me. Can everyone hear me okay? Sometimes my microphone doesn't work very well.
Yes, you're coming through loud and clear, Teresa.
Oh, okay. I'll back off then. Okay. So the subcommittee started in late 2016, and it came about as a sort of evolution of, we were discussing the county code and what was in the code as far as the duties of the commission. And we were just sort of brainstorming on how the commission could help implement the particular code referring to the survey and inventory and a system of monitoring sites that is written into the code. And I know you folks just recently got this via email, the report, the written report. Yeah, so I'm sure you haven't had time to read it, but it pretty much gives the whole background, and there are discussions of the different sites that we have visited so far in this, and this would provide you, I think, the real basis of the information as to where we came from and why and all that stuff, and how the process works. It started out with, there were 4 of us and we were all commissioners. There were no members of the public at that time. Deborah Chang was the chair of the commission, and she was on the subcommittee. Myself, Lily Dudoit, and Kiala Leloy. And we had a number of meetings at the Shifty office to go through the library there and develop there was a pre-existing spreadsheet of preservation plans, but we sort of updated it and then added some more information. And after going through and looking at all these, we started sort of composing, areas of priorities and that kind of thing. And I don't want to get too drawn out here because I know some of you folks have already heard this before, but the information that the 4 procedural steps that we do and everything is in this written document that you just got via email. And it was approved in April of 2017. And so that's when we actually started doing the looking at the preservation plans and things. And one of the things that we sort of wanted to do was to make sure that we sort of focused or covered, if you will, the agencies, the county, different county agencies that are controlling different historic properties, and the state and federal agencies. And so, and that way too, we had a record of this, so that, because when we were doing this with Shifty, private landowners were feeling targeted. You know, they're like, why are you coming after us, kind of thing, you know? And so we thought it'd be much better if we worked with agencies, sites first, and then we could move into some of the private realm sites. And the ones that we have, so basically, I mean, it doesn't seem like a lot. We started in 2017, and of course, we haven't done anything during the pandemic. So basically, we were active for 3 years, and we were able to cover 6 different preservation sites. And most of these, we focused, like I said, there were 3 county-owned properties, and 2 state-owned properties, and 1 private property that's in a subdivision. And we started, you know, just going through basically the process. It was the members of the subcommittee. And right now, I guess I'll just put this out here right now. We have myself, Deborah Chang is still a member of the subcommittee as a member of the public. And Nicole is still a member, although as you heard her say, she's kind of, you know, thinking maybe she doesn't have the time right now. And Natalie is also on the subcommittee, but I was not able to make contact with her because I only have her work email and she's on maternity leave. So I'm not sure right now what Natalie's feelings are about whether she's going to have time to stay on the subcommittee or not. So right now we have 2 members of the public, myself and Deborah. Nicole, you can, you know, and Natalie is still. So, and there's room that the subcommittee is set for 4 members. So, you know, like I said, I don't know how to get a hold of Natalie at this point, but technically she's still on the subcommittee, but you know, I don't know for how long. Anyway, you know, I don't want to spend a lot of time going through a lot of the details. There's the ones that we did for the county was Kilohana in North Kohala, the big piece of property that was purchased and is partially owned by the Alakakai Trail Association. So they also participated. So we sent 2 letters, one to the county and one to them. And the letters that we send, the initial letters, are signed by the chair of the commission and the planning director. Okay, these are the notices saying we would like to come and do an inspection of this preservation site that you have committed to preserving. And there's a form letter so that, you know, everybody gets the same information. We provide the name of the preservation plan, when it was approved by Shifty. And then we also include information like we're coming out to monitor the condition, to see that the plan has been implemented, to get GPS coordinates, which was an important thing for staff to have that information for their GIS. Because one of the things that we realized going into this was that the GIS that you know, the state shares with the county does not differentiate between sites that are even no longer in existence and sites that the owners have committed to preserve by written documentation. They're not distinguished in the GIS. So this was one of the things that, you know, to try to get the accurate GPS points so that these sites would be in the county's GIS system in perpetuity going forward. Yeah. And so anyway, that was one of the things, and we disclose that to the landowner in the letter that we send to them, that this is going to happen, you know. And like I said, we've had some of the, I think for the county, we've done Kilohana. We've also got involved, I should say, with La'aloa Beach Park. And that one has probably taken, I would say, the bulk of our time, more than the other sites, because it's just been, we went out, you know, it's been one of those projects that's been going on and on for such a long time. And we've been trying to, you know, continue to motivate Parks and Recreation to move forward and get this finished, right? And so that was one of the last, we were still, I think as of January 20 this year, we requested that we send another letter to Parks and Rec asking for an update, because we had sent them a letter with a number of recommendations, and it's been, what, over 2 years now, yeah, Nicole, and we haven't heard a peep out of them. And the request was for a response, you know, an update every 6 months, and we haven't gotten any updates. So that's one that, you know, is one of the things that I think, you know, when we did get involved, it did motivate Parks and Rec to, you know, start moving. And then, you know, they got the letter, and I think they thought, okay, well, we're done with them now. But, you know, technically, I think it would be good if we, you know, came back and said, hey, you guys, you know, we either want to do another site visit with you, or, you know, you need to send us a written update on what's going on out there, because it's not a pretty picture out there. And so anyway, the other county ones is in Hilo, the sports complex. You know, there's a historic flagpole base there, the last remnants of the Waikea base yard from the Hawaii Consolidated Railroad Company. And we've been trying to assist them in moving that forward too. And that one is also due for an update from them. And, you know, that's another one. But I'll just, the other ones that we did, Kilohana State Historical Park, that was the first one we did. And we talked to Martha Yen and Tracy Temsing from State Parks, and they filled us in on what was going on out there. And then we went out to Kumuaheau and talked to Division of Forestry and Wildlife, and met them on site and discussed that particular heiau. And that one is in an odd position because it's right across the boundary from a private development, and the preservation plan was written as part of the private development, and it only went into an interim status because they were going to protect it during construction. And so we, you know, we sent some recommendations to DOFA asking them to complete a long-term preservation plan for that site and the other associated habitation complex that's nearby. And these letters are all, you know, the letters that we write after the site visit get signed by the chair of the commission. And there's, in a lot of cases, we would say, for instance, with La'aloa, we had a number of presentations to the commission before our letter went out. In other words, we would give an oral report to the commission, and then see if they had any other comments or things like that, and then write the letter, which, you know, it kind of explains why you're only going to get so many done per year, right? Because you want to make sure that everybody's in the loop and everything. And then the final, the one that we did on private property was the Keau Kukui Ula Heiau in the Pualani Estate subdivision. And that was we were surprised, number one, that the organization, and now they have a separate preservation committee within their homeowners association to take care of that heiau. And we were very pleasantly surprised. We were well received by the group, and they really, had a lot of good questions. And as of now, just recently, I got a request from the member of the committee to continue giving them some additional technical support because they need to update their preservation plan. The plan that was written cannot in any sense of realistically be implemented. So they're working on a goal of doing an amended preservation plan, one that can actually be implemented and guide processes going forward, with that heiau site. So that's something that we're going to have to look at in the near future, going back and having another meeting with the committee and giving them some specifics, advice on mapping and things like that, so they can get their preservation plan amended and sent in. There's some other, in the report that you have at the end of it, it gives a rundown on some of our future projects or preservation areas that we have. And these come from basically members of the subcommittee, or if there's a member of the commission that says, I feel like the subcommittee should look into this because something's not right here. Anyone on the commission can make a suggestion to the subcommittee on what preservation sites they feel should be looked into. And we're not setting this up as targeting somebody who's doing something bad in terms of, because some of them are just to make sure that, like some of these resorts and things that have these massive preservation areas and everything, and they haven't been, nobody's checking out and saying, well, are you guys really doing this? You said you were going to do this like 10 years ago. Are you doing it? That kind of thing. But so we have, some other ones that the subcommittee members have suggested. So we have, the one Ho'omaloanali'i subdivision. You folks might be familiar with that one. There's a number of preservation sites in that subdivision. And then there's the heiau site at the Kona Coast Resort. Hikeau Heiau at Kealakekua Bay, that's another agency. And then Kukio Resort, that was suggested as one to, kind of ask for an update from the landowner on the status of their preservation sites. So, I'll just, if you folks have any questions, and I guess, at this point, we're still not full-blown active because of the pandemic and stuff, but we can write letters. And, there's a couple, like for instance, the county parks, sending them an update or a request for an update, and just to let them know, hey, we're still here, guys, are you guys still working on this? That kind of thing. And, when we get ready to go back, we'll have some things set up. But we can't really send out letters right now requesting a site visit. So usually those, we send a letter out and we give the landowner, say, a month, somewhere in a month's time to set a date. And then usually on the site visits, we have, the subcommittee, we have the staff person, the planner, who's doing the GPS and everything. And normally we always invite a member from the SHPD office. And so we either have Sean coming with us, or we had some other, the Kona, when they had a separate Kona archaeologist, she came out for the Kilohana And then we had history and culture people that came with us to the Keao Kukui Hula Heiau at Pulani Estate. So, you know, trying to make sure everybody's available, that takes a little time too. So, but, you know, it's been working out. It's just, you know, and then it just seems like usually once we get involved with one of these, it doesn't just end, right? So we have, even though we visited 6, we have, I'd say for the most part, other than Kilohana, we did ask for them to also do an updated plan, because their preservation plan was written when the assumption was it was going to be a private subdivision, and now it's open space county owned, so it's a little bit different. So, but we haven't heard anything back from them. But for the most part, a lot of these are, you know, something that is still kind of, you know, in the works, if you will. So I think, you know, maybe if anyone has any questions right now, otherwise, you know, you can read through this written report at your leisure. And then, like I said, if we, I guess, Nicole, you know, maybe decide for the next meeting whether you want to stay on. And I don't know, like I said, Natalie is on right now, but if she decides that she doesn't have the time, then, you know, we should have another commissioner. So I hope, you know, you folks think about if any of you want to be on the subcommittee. And if we get more from the commission, then the members of the public can certainly, you know, it's a 4-person subcommittee, and I don't know whether that means 4 total or 4 commissioners.
Wow, great report, Teresa, thank you. And I hope you will agree to stay on as a member of the public on the subcommittee. Say yes. You know, I'm going to ask Nicole for her comments, but before I do that, I think Ku'ule has a question or two for you.
Hi, mahalo nui, Teresa, for that update. Definitely believe that holding landowners or whomever it might be accountable is important. So thank you for your folks' work on that. Tita Nicole, just for clarification, is the La'aloa site the one that Tita Malia folks, the Kipapa Ohana, are you know, stewarding to, or is that a separate thing that I'm kind of getting mixed up? Is it next to La'aloa, or is it the La'aloa project that Malia folks are involved with?
It's separate because this is the Makai La'aloa section with the old parking lot.
Okay.
Yeah, and then as far as Tita Kuliana in the upper Mauka section, I think they're still taking care of that, but I haven't seen them over there in a while, cleaning or anything. So it's all overgrown in the back part of that section. But no, this is the section where the old parking lot stay. Yeah.
Gotcha. Thank you. Mahalo. And I don't mind, I'm going to kind of step out and say that I don't mind joining the committee, the subcommittee. I am quite familiar with most of these sites. I have been present at these sites, at least Kaiholana, Pumua, Keola Nahihi. Those are quite familiar for me. And so if the opportunity opens up, I would be I guess agreeable, and I wouldn't mind sitting on the subcommittee. But if it's full with 4, that's Maika Iloa Holomua, because there's great folks on the subcommittee. So Imua, and oh, hi Mama, look, Nicole.
Thank you, Ku'ule. Nicole. Nicole, do you have anything else to add just briefly to Teresa's report? And then if you can speak a little louder, that would help.
Oh, okay. Can you hear me now? Is that louder?
Can, but kind of soft.
Oh, I'm sorry. I don't know why. Usually it's pretty good. I get one of these old microphone and like earphones and stuff. So sorry that it's not loud enough. Maybe I gotta turn up my volume. Is there a volume? Hold on. Can everybody else hear me? And Jerry, you can hear me, yeah? Well, I'm sorry, Jerry, sorry, calling you Auntie. Okay, I just wanted to share that, Teresa and Jerry, is this, we can only have 4 on the committee, on the subcommittee?
I believe so, 4 commissioners, but I'm going to ask Kamu to please confirm.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, no, I can answer this. Yeah, so Jerry and Nicole, for investigative subcommittees, the Sunshine Law under 92-2.5, it allows for 2 or more, as long as the number of commissioners on the subcommittee is less than quorum. So in your case, that's 4. No more than 4 commissioners can be on the subcommittee. However, you can have public as part of it as well, as long as no more than 4 commissioners on the subcommittee.
Okay, thank you, Kamu. So Nicole, it's 4.
Okay, and then so I think what I'll do is, because I'm going to resign then from the subcommittee, and then Kohala can be on the subcommittee. Would that be good? Kohala.
Did you ask if that would be good?
Yes.
No, that's not good.
Oh.
Because I'm going to bring up a motion to add Kohala to the subcommittee because she stepped up. But I was hoping that you would continue to be a member of that subcommittee.
Oh, I would. I just thought because we don't know what Natalie's Manao would be on that and her answer to that. So okay then I'll stay on.
All right, thank you.
Okay, Chair. And then on the other thing too, for the Kumuaheau, the Kumuaheau in Puanakulu, we were supposed to get a hold of Kohala them too, and to let them know, Kohala's Ohana, and let her and the family know that we had gone and see this Heiau and did a site visit. And I just wanted to share a little experience, Kohala, that we had there. When we were trying to leave, the truck wouldn't start. And so lucky I made late. And when the truck wouldn't start, I heard a laughter coming from the pu'u up on the side of there. And it sounded like your kupuna, Uncle Robert. I remember his laugh. And so we gathered around and we did a little bit pule and chant. And then I offered the lei to Kumuaheau, and that the truck wouldn't start right after, and to this day, it still touches my heart that that happened, and we had that experience. So I just wanted to share that with you, Kohala, and the rest of the members of the council. Right, Teresa?
Wow.
Member Teresa? Oh.
Mahalo Anui, you are absolutely correct. The pu'u that is up above Kumua is called Pu'uolili. Pu'uolili is where Grandpa is buried. Grandpa's brother. We have about 5 generations. That is the Kekealani family plot there on Pu'u'olili. So, oh, you know this grandpa.
Oh my gosh, yeah, I heard the laughter, and it wasn't making fun of us, but it was the laughter of, yeah.
But yeah, that is.
Yeah. And
Thank you, Nicole.
And then it started. Yeah, and we were able to leave the area.
So at this time, I'm going to ask for a motion to add Koole to the subcommittee. It's just because she stepped up. And if I can get a motion to add her to the subcommittee, I'd appreciate it.
Commissioner Hirano moves to add Koole Kekealani to the investigative subcommittee for preservation plans.
Do I have a second?
I second.
Is that Nicole?
Yes, I second.
Okay. Okay, so it's been moved and seconded by Commissioner Hirano and Louis to add Koole Kekealani to the subcommittee for preservation plans. All those in favor, just say aye.
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 Mahalo. Any opposed? Thank you. Motion is carried. And then for staff, I wonder, there's a couple of items on the preservation plan that we have been dealing with for a while. And of course, we, were absent, quote unquote, because of the pandemic. But I remembered, especially to the County of Hawaiʻi Parks Parks Department, regarding La'aloa Beach Park and the Hilo Sports Complex. And I'm wondering, staff, if you could follow up at least on both of those for the commission, since you're all part of the County of Hawaiʻi, and anything else that's on this list that's related to the county. So any questions for Teresa or Nicole? Any further questions?
I have a question.
Okay.
Matt.
Hi, Matt.
Hi, Teresa. How are you? The list that you put together of the preservation plans, it looks like it was last updated in 2017. I would be happy to contribute to helping to update that again. And I also personally participated in preparing the preservation plans for Kuava Sports Field and for La'aloa Beach Park. And I've been involved in those from the beginning, so if the staff has any questions, I can assist with that. And there's also GIS data. I don't know if the county's set up for that, but I would be happy to provide that. And if there is another spot on the subcommittee, I would be happy to join if that's needed.
Thank you, Matt. I appreciate it. I'd like also to have staff follow up with Natalie if you can. I know she's on maternity leave and she may or may not want to continue to be on the commission. And whatever the case is, if she doesn't want to, then we can have someone else take her place. Thanks. All right, so I'm going to move to item 3 on our agenda, which is the CRC priorities for discussion. And staff, can you lead the discussion, please?
Okay, thanks, Chair.
That didn't sound too encouraging. Just kidding.
Well, I just wanted to say before we move straight into number 3.
Yeah.
I just wanted to let you know that again, the Sunshine Law allows for 4 commissioners, and so right now we have Nicole, we have Ku'ule just got nominated, and we will go check up with Natalie. So that makes 3.
Oh, so
you have one more.
One more.
You have one more slot open, even without us knowing what Natalie's status is. If we wanted to nominate Matt Clark to the
Okay,
subcommittee.
I forgot about that. I was thinking about Teresa still being on the commission, but we can do that. Can we do that by amending Kilohana's motion? By adding Matt's name?
Or you can just make another one.
Okay, Kilo, you want to make another motion to add Matt to the
Sure, I move that we,
subcommittee?
sure. I move that we add Matt Clark to the subcommittee, investigative subcommittee for preservation plans.
And I second.
And you second, all right. Commissioners, it's been moved and seconded that we add Matt to the Matthew Clark to the subcommittee for preservation plans. All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? All right, motion carried. Thank you, Matt. Your wish has come true.
Thank you.
All right. Thanks for bringing that up, Kamu. Now we can move into the CRC priorities discussion.
Could I throw something in there real quick, Jerry?
Oh, yes.
Yeah, could maybe Kim or someone, I don't know how to ask for this, but somehow could I get you guys' emails?
Yeah.
So we can coordinate, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'll send that to you, Teresa.
Okay,
Okay.
thank you.
And
All
then
right,
one,
sounds good. Thank you, guys.
one thought, Kamu and Kim, do they choose a chair of the subcommittee among themselves? Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. So among the four of you, choose a chair, and you don't have to do it now. At the next meeting, I'm assuming that you're going to get together at least by Zoom, maybe between now and the next meeting. If you'll just let us know who you selected as chair of the committee, that'd be good.
Okay, great. Okay, so Chair, you want to continue on?
Yes, we move to item 3, the CRC priorities.
Okay, so terrific. I think this was part of your meeting packet. And I'm hoping that you folks got to read through. So again, this was the action plan from 2018 to 2019, but with an update for during 2020, you guys did some updates to it. I am just wondering, and Kim, the updates are in bold.
I believe so.
Yeah. So really, this discussion is to reflect back to this commission. One, because we've taken a break for a while, and also we got new commissioners, so it's almost like a restart. And I thought that this would be a good opportunity for the commission to discuss among themselves if you guys want to continue down this track. Again, this was in 2020, giving an update to the 2018-2019 action plan. This is really your priorities. So does anybody at this time have any mana'o about the bolded lettering? You can talk on any part of this, but I believe that the bold is the mana'o that came from 2020, trying to update the action plan. So if you guys don't have it before you, we could possibly share screen, but I would ask that if anybody who has reviewed it, if you want to start up the conversation. And mind you, now is also not a time to talk about if you see a priority that isn't on here, now's a good time to bring it up.
Kamu, I have a couple of comments. One of them is the development of an orientation program for new commissioners. And I think we should, make that our priority, since we do have at least 4 new commissioners on board. Secondly, I know the county or our island has been working on a statewide training symposium for CRCs across the state. And I'm wondering if we can kind of refocus that to some kind of a Zoom training rather than, we had talked about having it on Hawaiʻi Island or maybe Maui or Oahu or whatever. But, in these times, a lot of those things are happening through Zoom. And if that's something that we perhaps can work on, I believe the last time we discussed this, the staff had been in touch with Maui, Planning Commission on Maui, to see if that was a viable option, not option for Zoom, but for a meeting. And it was a positive response. So that's something I think we should give priority to the training orientation for the new commissioners, as well as a statewide training program. The symposium, rather, not a program.
Okay. So Chair, just background on this statewide symposium. Let me ask Kim, this statewide symposium proposal in this update, because what it says, the intent of the meeting is to gather CRC members together to share knowledge and information regarding historic preservation and other issues of interest. So Chair, if I hear you correctly, you still want to keep the things listed in there as possible trainings for the symposium. You just want to add Zoom training in there.
Yeah, because I think, it's travel is out of the question at this time, and we don't know how long that'll be. But if that's something that the staff can look at.
Okay. Let me ask you one more question, Chair. If we're unable to organize a statewide Zoom training for all CRCs across the state, would you be happy? Would you at least want a Zoom training for our CRC?
Yes.
Is that what I'm hearing?
Yeah. Right, of course. Mm-hmm. Yes.
Okay, noted. Any other mana'o? Matt, you had mentioned a priority that you might have been interested in.
Well, I think that's kind of covered in in organizing the symposium, but working to access the CLG funds from SHPD, because I know 10% of their budget should be going towards community organizations and CLGs to perpetuate historic preservation on the islands. And as far as I know, that none of that money has been spent by SHPD in the past. So that was something I was interested in. I think it was just looking at number 2, it kind of feeds into continued action on coordinating historic preservation reviews with State Historic Preservation Division, and perhaps working more closely with them on this island is something I would be interested in.
Thanks, Matt, because that was one of the main issues that was brought up. And at the time, we had thought about travel and how to access funds for such a symposium.
Okay, thanks, Matt. I think maybe one thing, because we had talked in passing, but I think what may help to make this a priority is which like Jerry mentioned, one being travel, but start to think about, okay, one we want to access the funds, so that's a priority, but we should also be thinking about how we're going to use those funds. So one of those is travel, probably travel for training, which is allowed under the CRC purposes. So maybe even just detailing what kind of trainings or engagements would happen in those travel huaka'i. So something to think about and maybe put down to paper that we can either add to this or add to this so we can bring to the next meeting?
And one of the things that we did, and it's in the report, we had anchoring pond training by Debbie Chang. This was last year, I believe, or the year before, but also training by our own commissioners. We now have a historical architect on board. We have a new archaeologist. We could use the mana'o of those people on the commission. It doesn't have to be all travel and, other, if we can start basically with training for our commissioners, for the new commissioners, an orientation program, and then trying to use our own resources on the commission as well as on the island. And, we have wonderful cultural experts on the commission. We could also use them. Certainly we can't do site visits, but we certainly can do, do subject matter training for historical sites on the island or cultural sites.
Madam Chair.
Is that you, Nicole?
Yes, this is Nicole. So that's like including 1B, using in-house talent for educational opportunities. Would that be part of? Oh, wait. So I noticed 1B has using in-house talent for educational opportunities, historic trails, archaeology, environment, traditional protocols. So that's what you're.
Yes, that's what I'm.
Okay.
Yes, that's what I'm talking about.
So that would include, for like, I have a trail that my kupuna Kaele Makule talks about at Mahai'ula. It's a Maukamakai trail, and then there's we would start from a certain point and then make our way down. So that would have to include travel. So would this be something that we would look into the future or soon, like around the corner kind, or because of the COVID? But it would be outside kind of stuff. So we would have to wear masks and do protocol, I guess. And it's basically what I'm saying is that I can certainly take the commissioners on Huaka'i as one of my sharing with the commissioners. And I don't know if I'm making sense. But
yes, you did, and that sounds awesome.
Okay.
And to start off, we could start with that Huaka'i. But I'd like to ask staff about the ramifications of meeting, and I think we've done it before, site visits, meeting as a commissioner. The county does allow mileage for any kind of travel, but if Kamu, you and Kim can come up with answers to those questions for the next meeting, and then get with Nicole and see if we can make it happen.
Okay. Yeah, will do, Chair. And just as this discussion went through, Chair, I think for this first one, this first item on the plan, the action plan.
Yeah.
I think I want to kind of reframe it a little bit, because what I'm hearing is that when we talk about trainings, there is the trainings that comes from the Ike of the commission themselves.
Right.
In which they're training others. And then there's this other type of training where the commission is receiving training. And it sounds to me, that's what I think was meant originally in some of this language up here, is that when the commission receives training, it sounds like it's more regulatory systematic type training. Is that a fair assessment of the two different types of trainings?
Yes, this is a fair assessment. One, you have the formal training, and the orientation program for the new commissioners. I don't know if that would go under a formal training. And then there's the Nicole type training, for a lack of a better word, that would benefit all of us on the commission. I've been on the island for 20 years, and I'm just scratching the surface on the cultural and natural resource sites on the island. So that would be another type of training, in-house, with the commissioners themselves.
Okay, great.
Kamu. Hi, Kamu.
Hi.
Hi, Kamuela.
Hi.
So I remember when we first started on the commission, hi Kim, on the commission, we were given like binders that were divided into different sections that explain different things that the commission was able to do. And then we would go over that in the first couple meetings, I believe. This was like, oh gosh, 6, 7, 8 years ago. So my memory might not be that but yeah, I remember we received the binder. So is that what's happening with the commissioners that have just come on board? Are they receiving any type of binder or something that they can follow and read up on and get some training that way?
Yeah, mahalo, Nicole, for the question. So the department has gone to trying to go to a less paper heavy policy. So anyway, yeah, the binder is a binder like this. But when the new commissioners come in on board, they get it all in separate PDFs. So it's the same content that you folks received in the binder, but just digital copies emailed to them, or they can also access that list of documents through the CRC's website.
I forgot about the binder because I think I pulled it out maybe twice in my tenure on this commission. But that's part of that orientation program. It's a lot. It's a lot of material that we received. And maybe that could be a part of the orientation program for the new commissioners, as well as the old ones, to just go through the binder section by section and kind of just give a brief orientation of what that binder, what the sections of those of the binder entails. That's a good part of the orientation.
So, Chair, in that case, are you talking about a once-a-year review of the CRC mandates?
That is a good point to bring up. Maybe the first meeting of the year to do that, to remind us of our responsibilities or obligations as commissioners on the CRC. And then for the newer ones, for the newer ones.
And Madam Chair, again to Kamu, so the new commissioners, once they get that PDF, they have the opportunity to ask you questions, yeah, Kamuela?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So there's 3 types of training that I hear. One type is coming from the commission to people outside of the commission. The other one is the types of training that new commissioners get. And I would really appreciate your guys' mana'o too. Like, I think that's what Debbie might have meant by her suggestion of Anki-aligned pools, you know, because we hand you guys this packet, and that's your regulation type mandates. But it seemed like there's maybe some other sensitivities that is not part of the orientation that maybe you guys are trying to consider. And then the third type of training is in which different agencies working more closely with historic property regulations provides the commission training. So that's what I'm hearing. And I'm going to try and reframe this number 1 to kind of reflect those different types of trainings. I want to touch really quickly on Nicole's suggestion for Huaka'i. So I think the CLG funds, because Nicole, what you're talking about is more like a Huaka'i, which I think commissioners can get mileage for. But I think the type of travel, well, the CLG funds is a little bit more funds, and that can be used for like events that require more money. Yeah. And just really briefly, if the Huaka'i is something that the commission wants to do, the thing we got to think about is the current social distancing rules. And so the last one that I read is that there can be no more than groups of 10, whether indoors or outdoors. So if we think about a Huaka'i, there may be just added logistical things to consider and we couldn't be, I think just with staff and commissioners, we go over 10. So we'll look into it. I'll try and look into it and see how we can do possibly 2 different pods. But at the same time, it's like, how do we know if everybody is safe even in those groups of 10? So there's a big question mark.
Yeah, Kamo, if you could do that for us, you know, I was even thinking, and you know, we could do 2 with groups of 5 or whatever. But if you could look up the logistics of doing such a thing, then and bring it to us at the next meeting, then we can go from there. Nicole, how long is this trail? It's a trail, right? Oh, I think she got off. Okay.
Oh, you unmute, Nicole.
Sorry, color my.
Nicole.
It's a little over a mile.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah. And it's downhill, so we're not gonna be suffering and sweating and all that. Oh, just kidding. Anyway, yeah. So, and you know, we can do the social distancing and then maybe make sure everybody's vaccinated. I don't know. Maybe that can, be one of.
Well, that's another consideration too. And it may be at, you know, in these times it may not be feasible, but if staff can look into it for us, you know, that'd be helpful. Okay. Any more comments on the?
I have a question.
Yes, Scott.
Another just to Kamuela, another like the Sunshine Law is, are we allowed to take so many commissioners to a site? Or is there a limit on that? Because I remember with the Borough Council, we couldn't go as a group. Only so many could go and go on the site and check it out. So I just wondered that happened to be the same case with this suggestion of a Huaka'i.
Yes, Scott, the way we get all the commissioners on a Huaka'i at the same time is we need to agendize it.
Okay, yeah, right.
So, and under your folks' mandates, it's agendized as a training. No? They can just do huaka'i.
So, Jean, if you want to jump in, but from my understanding, if it's a huaka'i that of a property that you're not reviewing or will not be on the agenda for future meetings, and it's for training purposes, it does not need to be agendized. And I don't think that quorum matters. It would be for training purposes only.
I'll have to look into that and see if there's a carve out from sunshine, but putting it on, agendizing it as a training would cover you for sunshine. But yes, other than that, Scott, you're correct that you would need, basically any time that the commissioners get together, more than outside of a meeting, outside of an agendized meeting, it either needs to be a permitted interaction group like you formed with your subcommittee, where you form the group in a meeting that's been publicly agendized, and you talk about what the purpose of that subcommittee is, just like you did earlier today. That's fine. Otherwise, you need to get yourself, onto an agenda so that the public knows what's happening. But I'm sure that we can find a way to do that. And Kim and Kamu and I can look into how best to handle sunshine law and make sure that you guys are clean if you want to all get together.
That's great, Jean. Thank you.
Oh,
Appreciate it. Okay, any more questions? If not, I'm going to move on to administrative matters. And the one administrative matter on the agenda is our meeting minutes of January 13th. Are there any, for the older commissioners, are there any additions or corrections to the minutes?
No, not.
Thank you. If not, I'd like a motion to accept with a second.
I motion that we accept the minutes as they are.
And a second.
I second.
Thank you, Kilo. It's been moved by Commissioner Liu and seconded by Commissioner Hirano that we accept the minutes, that the minutes be approved as circulated. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any nays? Thank you. Minutes are approved as circulated. Staff, any additional administrative matters?
Chair, nope, nothing from staff.
Nothing from staff. All right, I'll move on to announcements. Our next scheduled meeting is on Wednesday, November 10, 2021. At this time, before I conclude the meeting, I'd like to thank the members of the Planning Commission and our CRC Commission, and also all of you members, new and former, Teresa, thank you. All of you for being on Zoom and meeting with us today. This concludes the items on our agenda. I'd like to ask for a motion to adjourn, please. So no one wants to adjourn the meeting.
I make a motion to adjourn.
Thank you, Matt.
A second.
Okay, so it's been moved by Matt and seconded by Kilo that we adjourn the meeting. All those in favor say aye.
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 All right. Any opposed? All right, we're done. Thank you.
Mahalo, Commissioner.
Mahalo.
Aloha.
Aloha.